Hey VC, my name's Harvey and welcome to my latest upload for my channel Spinning the Black Circle. I'm hoping to get around to 2 video uploads this weekend, the second of which I've seen some fantastic vinyl tag videos across the VC community, so I thought I'd finally get around to doing mine tomorrow. But I did say in my intro video that I would do a walkthrough of my hi-fi setup, so this is the purpose of this particular upload. Starting with my vinyl collection and how I store that, and I'll move on to my actual hi-fi setup and why I made those particular choices, because that's in a separate room to my vinyl collection. So come with me. I will start with my vinyl collection. So approximately 2/3 of my vinyl collection sits in this room, which is a study. It's stored in an IKEA Kallax, which is an incredibly popular choice for vinyl storage, and rightly so. These things are reasonably priced, almost made for vinyl. You get kind of a 2/3 of an inch gap between the top of the vinyl and the Kallax unit. They're easy to put together, quite modular in terms of adding to them. So these things, as you expand your collection, you can just add to them, and they look pretty good too. So stored in Kallax, A to Z by artist. I have a separate section down here for jazz albums, quite a small collection, but hoping to expand that on vinyl. And other things I keep in the room: a vinyl bag for record fairs, sleeves. This book, which is fantastic, Dust and Grooves. You may have heard of that hardback book. So that's in there, and then some scales for my turntable to ensure it's tracking correctly, and then things like sleeves in this box too for the vinyl. So most of my collection, just preserves harmony in the house to not have this amount of vinyl in my living space, because I don't have a separate room for my hi-fi. It's in the main living room with the TV. But that's about 2/3 of my collection. I do have some vinyl in the hi-fi room, which I'll show you in a second, and I have some vinyl still in the northeast in another house. But a mainstay of my collections in this study room, stored in Kallax. So now I'll move on to the hi-fi system. Okay, so we're now in the living room space where my hi-fi setup is and where I enjoy music. The 2 boxes of vinyl that I do permit myself to have in the living room are stored to the right and left of my hi-fi setup. So my slightly quirky system is that in the right-hand box to the right of the hi-fi, I will have a box of current purchases or recent purchases, and also albums that I just play constantly. So either ones that I regard as personal favourites or classics, ones that I just can't live without, and therefore in the living room on the right hand side. But then the other half of that, the kind of angel and devil setup, if you like, is that in the left hand box are the albums that are much more left field. That perhaps those albums that you buy that are either challenging or just a little bit more difficult to get into in this box deserve more time. So rather than just playing the same things all of the time, I'll delve right into my back catalogue, swap this around, and play these albums and give them the time that they deserve. So I think that's a really effective way for me of mixing it up between obvious albums that I play all the time and things that are a bit more left field in my collection. So to the right and left of my hi-fi, I have those boxes, and then sandwiched between that, one of my pride and joys is the box set reissue of Pink Floyd's Pulse. So that is in the living room, just because of how important I view it to be and how often I play it. So that box set is in the living room area. Okay, VC. So onto my actual hi-fi system. The whole thing is stored on a dual Florence hi-fi rack. So these things look great. It's a nice piece of furniture. My issue with the dual Florence is whether it's compromising the music. I think the combination of glass shelving and it's not the sturdiest piece of furniture in the world. So for anything other than a budget system, I'm not sure this is the right thing, and I'm probably going to upgrade it in a couple of years as we move things around this room and get something that's more hi-fi dedicated. So it's a nice piece of furniture, but I'm not sure it's the best if for a mid-range or high-end system where you wouldn't want your music to be compromised. So the turntable is a Rega Planar 6. So it's kind of the mid-range Rega deck. I upgraded to the Planar 6 in summer last year. I did audition quite extensively before upgrading, and it's just made a massive difference. So prior to the Rega 6, I had a Rega Planar 2, which is a great deck, and it may not look much difference, but in terms of the ability to play the music, the Rega Planar 6 is just on a different level. So very happy to make that upgrade. You know, having done lots of A/B tests and auditioned the difference. It's pre-fitted in this case with Rega's entry level moving coil cartridge. So this is a Rega Ania cartridge, and this thing is just fantastic in terms of the ability to pick up what the artist was intending and play the music. I mean, this will just pull everything off the disc. I would say that it strikes a good balance between something that's analytical and musical. So, you know, if you want something that's massively analytical, I guess you're looking at something like a VPI or moving further up the range again. But so this is, you know, for under £2,000, probably about £1,500, you can get a Rega Planar 6 with a moving coil cartridge. You know, and that deck, you know, in terms of the ability to just play what's on the music is difficult to beat at that price. This comes packaged with the Rega Neo PSU motor. So the motor for the turntable is separate to the actual turntable, but is in with the price. And I guess the objective is obviously to, if the motor is not inside the turntable itself or backed onto the turntable, then you know that separation's gonna make it easier for the disc to play the music without compromise. So that's the Rega Neo PSU, which comes with the Rega Planar 6, and the only other button other than on and off it has on it is a switch between 45 RPM, which is what's happening now with the turntable, and back down to 33 RPM. So that is the Rega Neo PSU, which is packaged with the Rega Planar 6. So next is the Rega Phono moving coil preamp. So this is a phono stage, and that's necessary because it's an MC cartridge, and my amplifier didn't have it wasn't an MC amplifier. I wouldn't accept that input. But the advantage to having a separate phono stage preamp is that separation again is going to improve sound quality, going to give the volume and everything a boost. And just lift the music. So it's an entry level MC phono stage, which is called a Rega Phono MC. Retails for about £249, and yeah, it's a super piece of kit. Really small, obviously looks good next to a Rega Neo PSU too, because they're clearly a good match. And then that is connected again via a piece of Rega kit. It's connected to the amplifier via a Rega Couple 2 interconnect, which is not cheap for a piece of wire. It's £125 to connect the phono stage to my amplifier, but again, you know, didn't want to compromise the sound in any way, given how much I was paying for the rest of the kit. And then finally, I just love this amplifier. This is the 2017 latest edition of the Rega Brio. Retails for about £600, so I guess that's about $900. 50 watts per channel amplifier, and you know, it's just a superb match for the rest of the Rega kit, and plenty of power for a room of this size. So that is my Rega Brio 2017. So the final piece of the jigsaw are the Monitor Audio Silver 200 speakers. So these retail for about £1,000 in the UK. Just fantastic speakers. They're quite neutral. They tend to adapt fantastically. You know, they can the highs are sweet, the mid range is really clear, and they can really hit deep in terms of bass power if you listen to something like dance music. So in terms of the eclectic and far-reaching taste that I have, I really needed a system, particularly the speakers, that wouldn't be under pressure to or via one way or the other in terms of the ability to play any type of music. So the Monitor Audio Silver 200s, just a fantastic speaker for a mid-range setup, quite flexible, not that fussy in terms of placement. They're about a foot and a bit off the back wall there, and I've kept the bungs in the back just to minimise the bass because it's a reasonably small room. But that's a fantastic coupling for my old Rega system. I did think about Rega speakers, but I think these do the job better. To be honest, for the price point, so can't recommend enough the Monitor Audio Silver 200s. They are linked to the hi-fi system via, reasonably expensive cable. I guess the Atlas Hyper 1.5 speaker cable retails for about £13.50 per meter, or about $20. But again, I experimented with cable. I know there are some that think that it is snake oil and that it makes no difference, but I had some cable before the Atlas Hyper, which I was auditioning, and that really made the system sound too bright, and the Atlas Hyper 1.5 cable quietened that down a bit. So I know what my ears are hearing, and the cable did actually make a difference to the system overall. Okay, so that is my hi-fi system room tour. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you managed to take some tips or some interest from a walk around my system and vinyl collection. Thanks very much, VC, and I shall be back tomorrow for my vinyl tag video. Bye.